All right. Well, we've been talking about faith, which is one of your favorite subjects, Nigel.
Yes.
So what did you think today about the definition that I gave? We were from Hebrews 11, 1 through 3. Faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. What did you think about that Greek word there for not evidence, but faith is the assurance? Assurance being the title deed.
That's cool. I've never heard that. No.
You've never heard that? Interesting. Because I wondered because I know that you went to Rhema, and I wondered if they taught that there.
I was wondering if I was going to raise my hand. If you didn't say about they were going to the same mountain, I was going to say like, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was like, is he? Let's see how much research he did.
Yeah.
Yes, he knows. Okay, he got it. Good.
Yeah. So what you were talking about was we talked about what faith. We talked about how the definition of faith in Hebrews 11, 1 through 3. But then what goes on throughout the chapter of Hebrews is the author actually shares real life examples. We studied Cain and Abel. We studied Enoch. We studied Noah. And then this week we dove into Abraham. And there were a couple of parts of Abraham. One was when he left Ur, this very comfortable place that he lived in, to become a nomad. But what you're talking about was the part where Abraham God had told him that even though his wife Sarah was barren, and they were very, very old in their 90s, I believe. And eventually it was a miraculous birth. God promised them this miraculous birth from Isaac, whom God said he would bless his descendants, right? And then after he has Isaac, God tells him to take Isaac up to the mountain and to sacrifice him. And so there were some similarities between Isaac and Christ. And one of them was, now you mentioned the mountain, right?
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing was completely foreshadowing of what was to come.
Yeah.
And that's the whole Old Testament. We teach we used to, I think we still do in this Discipleship 1, that the Old Testament points to Jesus.
Yeah.
It's all foreshadowing of what is to come. It's a preparation in faith. Sometimes, again, it's before it's happened. You're talking about how faith was believing in something before it happens. You can't see it. That doesn't take any faith if you see it.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you don't see it and you're foreshadowing and you're believing something that's going to happen hundreds and sometimes thousands of years later, that takes some pretty good faith in God. And that was that whole thing with Isaac, and then Jesus later dying on the cross was totally a foreshadowing to what Jesus would do for us.
Yeah, because the Bible says that Abraham, he said, "Take your beloved son in whom you love." God spoke to Abraham and said that, and then you use the same. You can see the same verbiage used in John 3:16. For God so loved the world that He gave His beloved Son, right?
Yeah,
whom He loved. And then so there's that and then just before Abraham is about to sacrifice his son Isaac, an angel shows up and says, "Don't touch the boy," and they provide a sacrifice, which was a sheep, right? Or a goat, I can't remember. So anyway, Jesus was the sheep in the future, and the difference there was, God provided a sacrifice for Abraham instead of his son, and God provided a sacrifice for us, through Jesus Christ. And some of the other similarities that were there was Moriah, which is the mountain where Isaac was supposed to be sacrificed, was actually where many scholars believe Jesus was actually crucified on that same mountain. They both carried wood. Isaac carried wood for his own sacrifice. Jesus carried a cross, which was wood. Lots of stuff, like you said, pointing toward the cross in the future. Yeah, pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, even with the sacrifices, I mean, they did all kinds of. You had to sacrifice goats and lambs, just to sin once to cover. It was just a covering of your sin.
Yeah.
Until you did another sin, and then you had to do it again because of what Adam and Eve brought in at the garden.
Yeah.
Jesus cleansed us.
Yeah.
So that was one for all. When he died on the cross and rose again for us, all of a sudden we don't have to thank God. We don't. Can you imagine if we had to sacrifice all these things? Let's go find something to sacrifice. I screwed up again. Where's the not give me a lamb? I can't imagine what they had to do in those days because all the lamb did was cover things because Jesus hadn't died yet at that time in history.
Yeah.
And that was the example, and that's why they provided the sheep for Abraham to sacrifice.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Really good stuff.